Good morning, students. Let's start our new topic, Unit 3, Petrology. So, basically, what is petrology? Petrology, petro means rocks and logy means study. So, petrology meaning is study of rocks. So, that is known as a petrology. The branch of geology deals with the various aspects of rocks such as origin, associations, occurrence, mineral compositions, chemical compositions, structure, physical properties of rocks. It is known as a petrology. So petrology is basically the branch of geology which deals with the various aspect of the rocks, how they occurs, what are the minerals rock contain, what is a chemical composition of rocks, what are the physical properties of rocks. All these studies of the rock is known as a petrology. This detailed study about the rock is known as a petrology. So definition, how we define a petrology, how we define a rock or stone. So rock or stone is a natural substance, a solid aggregate of one or more minerals combined together in an ordinary manner. Now, what is petrography? Petrography is a branch of geology which deals with the descriptive part of rocks. Means के in details about the various part of the rocks. Now, what is petrogeny? Petrogeny is a branch of engineering geology which deals with the mode of formation of rocks. So I can see there are the various mode of formation each in which rock can be formed. So that branch is known as a petrogeny. Now classification of rocks according to in petrology there are the basic classification of rocks. There are basic three classifications. There are geological classification, physical classification and chemical classification. In physical classification there are three more classifications. They are igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic rocks. In igneous rocks there are five types of the rocks: intrusive, hyperbasal, plutonic, extrusive and volcanic. In sedimentary rocks there are three types of the rock. There are clastic deposits, chemical deposits, organic deposits, and in metamorphic there are two types of the rocks: foliated rocks and non-foliated rocks. So today we'll see only the geological classification. In next lectures we will see in detail about physical and chemical classification. So let's start with geological classification. So what is igneous rocks? In geological classification, the first type is a igneous rocks. So what is igneous rocks? Igneous rocks are primary rocks which are formed due to cooling and solidification of magma. Means the rocks we get from solidifying of magma, that particular rocks are known as the igneous rocks. Magma, now what is magma? Magma is a hot viscous siliceous melt or containing water vapor and gases. So that is known as a magma. Magma comes out from the greater depth below the earth surface. Such magma is called the lava. So if the magma is comes out from the large depth, so that magma is known as the lava. So this is a classification of so we are seeing rock classification. First type is igneous rocks. In igneous rocks the first type is classification is geological rocks, and in that geological rocks the first type is igneous rocks. And in igneous rocks we are learning the first is intrusive rock. So intrusive rock. So what is a intrusive rock? Okay, so these are the basic two types of the rocks. The first is extrusive rock and the next one is intrusive rock. So what is intrusive rock? Intrusive igneous rocks are the formed from magma that cools and solidified with within the crust of a panel surrounded by the pre-existing rocks called country rocks. So these rocks are known as the country rocks. If the magma or lava solidified below these rocks, means ke they don't come out like this and solidified below this rock only, so that solidification of magma or lava is known as a intrusive rock. इंट्रूसिव मतलब क्या होता है, रॉक के अंदर ही मैग्मा और लावा कूल हो जाता है. एक्सट्रूसिव क्या होता है कि ये कंट्री रॉक है उसके बाहर आके सॉलिडिफाई होता है. सो दिस इज अ बेसिक डिफरेंस बिटवीन इंट्रूसिव एंड एक्सट्रूसिव रॉक. द मैग्मा कूल्स स्लोली एंड एज अ रिजल्ट in this kind of the rocks formation, the magma cools slowly. As a result, these rocks are coarse grained rock. So intrusive rocks are coarse grained rock. The main grains in such rocks can generally be identified with the naked eye. So by naked eye we can see the grains of this kind of the rocks, and that are intrusive rocks. So you can see the grains of these rocks. Okay, so there are the diorite, granite, gabbro, pegmatite. So these are the types of intrusive rocks. Now the next type is, in intrusive rocks there are more two types. They are hyperbasalt and plutonic. So in intrusive rocks there are two types of the rocks, hyperbasalt and plutonic. So first is hyperbasalt. Igneous rocks. In igneous rocks there is a first rock is which kind of a geological classification, igneous rock. In igneous rock intrusive, and in intrusive we are seeing hyperbasalt. So the rocks are formed at intermediate depth, generally up to 2 km below the earth's surface, and exhibits mixed characteristics of volcanic and plutonic. Okay, so these rocks are formed at a smaller depth, say 2 km below the earth's surface. So if the rocks are formed at a smaller depth or up to 2 km depth, so that rocks are known as a hyperbasalt rock. The next is the example of hyperbasalt rocks are diorite is a diorite. Now the next rock is intrusive igneous rocks is plutonic rock. The main difference between these two rocks, plutonic rock and hyperbasalt rock, is only the gap between the depth. Means ke these rocks can occur at a larger depth. We can say 7 to 10 km below the earth's surface. So these rocks can occur at 7 to 10 km डेप्थ बिलो दी अर्थ सर्फेस. मतलब कि ये जो रॉक्स होते हैं हाइपरबेसल रॉक में क्या होता है, डेप्थ ग्रेट लार्जर होती है. मीन्स के सिर्फ अगर 2 किलोमीटर डेप्थ तक ही अगर रॉक फॉर्म हो रहे हैं तो दैट आर इंट्रूसिव रॉक, सॉरी हाइपरबेसल रॉक. अगर ग्राउंड लेवल से, ग्राउंड सरफेस से 7 to 10 किलोमीटर डेप्थ पे अगर रॉक फॉर्मेशन हो रहा है तो दे आर दी प्लूटोनिक रॉक्स. Now because of very slow rate of cooling at this depth, coarse grained rocks are formed. So again in this type of rocks, the rocks type is plutonic rock. So gabbro, pegmatite are the types of the plutonic rock. Now this is a difference between plutonic and hyperbasalt rocks. Okay, hyperbasalts have more coarse particle than, plutonic rocks have more coarse particles as compared to hyperbasalt rocks. Now the next igneous rocks, in igneous there is the next metamorphic rock is extrusive rock. As I earlier told you, what is the main difference between intrusive and extrusive? Intrusive में rock formation होता है below this country rock. एक्सट्रूसिव में लावा बाहर आ जाता है, मैग्मा बाहर आ जाता है और फॉर्मेशन होता है इस surface पे. So it is also called as a volcanic rock. These rocks are formed due to cooling and solidification of magma at the crust surface. So this is a crust surface. The magma which is bowed to the surface through fissures or volcanic eruptions, solidification at a faster rate. Hence such rocks are smooth, crystalline and fine grained. So what is the main difference between intrusive and extrusive rock? Intrusive rocks form below the country rocks. Extrusive rocks formed at a crest level of a magma. Okay, these rocks are coarse grained rocks. All these rocks have fine grained rocks. Okay, fine grained in nature. Okay, we can see by naked eyes formation of the rocks. We cannot able to see the formation of rocks by naked eye for extrusive rock. Okay, now extrusive igneous rocks. The next is volcanic rocks. These rocks are formed due to cooling and solidification of lava erupted from volcanoes. Since lava cools down very fast, the grain size of the crystal formed in this rock is fine. So this is a volcanic rock, extrusive rock, volcanic rock. This is some. This one is some. This is one more example of volcanic rock. This that is basalt. Okay, so these are the igneous rocks. In igneous there are extrusive rocks. Okay, now the next geological classification we show first is first is metamorphic. Now the next classification is sedimentary. In sedimentary there are three types: clastic, chemical and organic deposit. Now sedimentary rocks are those which are formed by the accumulation, compaction and consolidation of sediments. The sediments are particles produced from the disintegrations of pre-existing rocks like igneous and metamorphic rocks. Okay, so this ultimately the sedimentary rocks are formed from the igneous and metamorphic rock. Okay, through the process of transportations and depositions by various natural agencies like wind, water and glacier. So this is a procedure for formation of the sedimentary rocks. In first step the soil is erode or sediment erode and up to in the water and being to settle sediments. Okay, so due to the rainwater this soil is erodes and settle down at the bottom of the water bodies. Okay, repeatedly this procedure is occur and the layers are formed at the bottom of the water bodies. So these are the layers. Okay, the upper water due to the due to the due to the weight of upper water layer, these bottom layers are compacted, and due to the cell crystals glue the layers together, and this procedure is known as a cementation. So cementation occur and ultimately the sedimentary rocks are goes to form. So this is a procedure of sedimentary rocks. First is sediments suspended in water setting and deposition. The next is compaction and the third is cementation. Now these are the types of the sedimentary rocks. First is sandstone, the next is conglomerate. These are some more examples of sedimentary rock: shale, limestone. Okay, now in sedimentary rocks the first type is clastic deposit. In clastic deposit itself there are three types: rhodaceous rocks, arenaceous rocks, argillaceous rocks. So, what is clastic deposit rocks? They are the mechanically formed rocks. These are formed due to the process of weathering, erosion, transportation, and deposition of the pre-existing rock. Let's say there is a one igneous or metamorphic rock. So, due to the weathering effect, these rocks is separated into small elements or small parts or small uh, component, and these small components are eroded by the water, and at some other place they can collected and formatted, and ultimately the sedimentary rock format फॉर्मेशन अकर। ओके, मतलब इसमें होता है कि जो पहले से एग्जिस्टेंट रॉक है, या तो मेटामॉर्फिक रॉक है या तो कोई इग्नियस रॉक है, वो वेदरिंग इफेक्ट के इफेक्ट लाइक विंड है, स्नो है, रेन है, उस वजह से क्या होता है, उसके छोटे पार्टिकल्स में वो डिवाइड हो जाता है। वो पार्टिकल्स क्या होते हैं, जो सेडिमेंटेशन है, देन नोन एज अ सेडिमेंटेशन। तो वो वाटर की वजह से क्या होता है, ट्रांसपोर्ट होते हैं, एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पे जाके ट्रांसपोर्ट होते हैं, और वहाँ पे वो क्या हो रहे हैं, फॉर उनके लेयर बनते हैं, और उन लेयर का बहुत से सालों के बाद कॉम्पैक्शन की वजह से वो सेडिमेंट्री रॉक में फॉर्म होते हैं। सो दीज आर दी थ्री बेसिक टाइप्स ऑफ क्लास्टिक डिपोजिटेड रॉक: reducious, rhodaceous, arenaceous, and argillaceous. Okay, so what are the rhodaceous rock? If the grain size are more than 2 mm in dia, so that rocks are known as a rhodaceous rocks. What are the arenaceous rocks? If the grain size is in between 1 to 2 mm, so that rocks are known as the arenaceous rocks. And if the size of the particle is less than 1 mm in dia, so that rocks are known as a argillaceous rock. Okay, so this classification is basically upon the grain size. Okay, so now these are the examples of rhodaceous rocks, that are the cangalomerate, baracia. So now these are the example of arenaceous rocks. These are the quartz stone. You can see the particle size of these rocks is very small. Okay, and the next is a grit. Now the next type is argillaceous rocks. So now what are the argillaceous rocks? The argillaceous rocks have smallest particle size. Okay, and the examples are shale and mudstone. So these are the shale or mudstones are the examples of argillaceous clastic deposited rocks. Now in the next sedimentary rocks is chemical deposited rocks. So they are formed by precipitation, evaporation, or crystallization from nature aqueous solutions. When water is rich in dissolved salt evaporates and left behind the minerals. So that is known as a halite. Limestone can form when calcite minerals dissolve in lakes, sea, and underground water comes out of solutions and from the crystals. Now, these are the examples of chemical deposited rocks. There are the limestone and halite. Now, in sedimentary rocks, the one more type is organic deposited rocks. Sedimentary rocks which are formed exclusively from remains of organism like plant, animals deposited in a thick layers. They are known as organic deposited rocks. These are the examples of organic deposited rocks. So because these rocks are formed due to remains of animal or plants, so that's why they are known as a organic rock. Like this is a pit, and it is formatted into ignite, and ignite formatted ultimately after so many years. The ignite is formed in a coal, and this is a coal rock. Coal, lignite, These are the examples of organic rocks. Now the third classification is metamorphic. In metamorphic there are only two classification, foliated and non-foliated. So metamorphic rock, the word metamorphic comes from the Greek. Meta means change and morph means form. So metamorphic means the change from metamorphic rocks are those rocks that are formed as a result of transformation that takes place in the pre-existing rocks, igneous or sedimentary rocks. When the pre-existing rocks are subjected to higher temperature, pressure and chemically active liquids and gases. So pre-existing rocks like igneous and sedimentary rocks change into some other form of the rocks due to the higher temperature, pressure and chemical activities. Their basic formation or their basic properties are goes to change, and that change in that properties are known as the metamorphic rocks. The minerals present in the origin rocks change to a new environment and conditions. Okay, so that is a metamorphic rock. Slate. This is first slate. It is metamorphic rocks, and this is a layer formation. Gneiss. Metamorphic rocks. First is foliated rocks. When pressure squeeze the flat or elongate minerals with a rock, so they become aligned. These rocks develop a platy or sheet like structures that reflects the direction that pressure was applied in. Slate, seeds and gneiss are all foliated metamorphic rocks. Like these are the this formation is known as the fall. These layers are known as the fall. So that's why these rocks are known as the foliated rocks, because fall are available in this kind of the rocks. That's why they are known as a foliated, means layered rocks. Now non-foliated rocks. In this kind of the rocks there isn't any fall or there isn't any layers are available. Non-foliated metamorphic rocks are formed around igneous intrusions where the temperatures are high but the pressures are relatively low and equal in all directions. So basically these rocks are formed in that particular kind of the environment when the temperature is very much high but the pressures are relatively low. So these are the examples of non-foliated rocks. White marble, this is also one other type of a marble. You can see there isn't any fault or there isn't any layers in this kind of the rock. That's why they are known as a foliated rocks. Okay, so this is a foliated rocks, this is a non-foliated rock. Okay, further classification we will discuss in our next lectures. If you have any query, any doubt, you can ask me between 2:30 to 3:30 in Zoom call. Thank you.